My husband slid a folder across the table and said, "Thought you should know. I've been planning my exit for months and I'm taking everything I can." I didn't raise my voice. I just told him, "Before you celebrate, open the envelope inside." The moment he looked at the first page, his hands started shaking so hard he couldn't even finish reading. I'm Lucy, 35, and 2 days ago, my husband of 7 years announced he was leaving me while simultaneously trying to financially destroy me. What he didn't know was that I'd been 3 steps ahead of him for the past 4 months, and the envelope he'd just opened contained proof that would unravel every plan he'd carefully constructed. Victor and I met when we were 26. He was working as a paralegal at a small firm. I was doing financial analysis for a tech company. We dated for 2 years, got married in a beach ceremony that his parents paid for, and settled into what I thought was a pretty good marriage. We bought a house 3 years ago, talked about kids, eventually took trips to wine country on weekends. From the outside, we looked solid. But about 6 months ago, things started feeling off. Victor was on his phone constantly, password protecting everything. Suddenly, he started working late more often, going to networking events that would run until midnight. When I asked about his day, he'd give vague answers and change the subject. Classic signs, but I wanted to believe there was a reasonable explanation. 4 months ago, I came home early from a business trip. My flight got canceled. I caught an earlier one, landed at 3 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. When I walked into our house at 3:45, I heard voices upstairs, Victor's voice and a woman's voice. I stood in the hallway, frozen, listening to them laugh about something. Then I heard the bedroom door open. I should have confronted them right then, but something made me stay quiet. I went back outside, sat in my car down the street, and watched a woman I didn't recognize leave our house. 20 minutes later, she came out, looked about my age, dressed in a sharp suit, confident walk. She got into a BMW and drove away. I waited another 30 minutes before going back inside. Victor was in the kitchen, making himself coffee like nothing had happened. "You're home early," he said, smiling. "I thought your flight wasn't until tonight." "Got lucky with an earlier one. How was your day?" "Boring. Worked from home, caught up on some emails, the usual." He lied right to my face without hesitation. That's when I knew this wasn't just paranoia. I didn't confront him. Instead, I called my college roommate Dave, who'd become a private investigator. I told him everything. He said he'd look into it discreetly. A week later, he sent me a file that made my stomach drop. The woman was Victor's boss, Rachel Kellerman. Married, 2 kids. She and Victor had been having an affair for at least 8 months based on hotel records, credit card statements Dave had accessed, and photos of them together at restaurants across the city. But that wasn't even the worst part. Dave had also uncovered financial records showing that Victor had been systematically moving money out of our joint accounts into a separate account I didn't know about. Over the past 6 months, he'd transferred almost $47,000, mostly in small amounts that wouldn't trigger immediate notice, but sometimes in larger chunks when I was traveling. He'd also taken out a $30,000 personal loan in my name using forged documents. Dave had copies of everything. "He's planning something," Dave told me on the phone. "People don't move this much money without a plan. My guess is he's getting ready to leave and wants to make sure he's got a financial cushion." "Can I stop him?" "Not without him knowing you're on to him. But you can protect yourself. Talk to a lawyer. Secure your assets. Document everything. When he makes his move, you'll be ready." I met with a divorce attorney named Linda Chen the next day. I showed her everything Dave had uncovered. She looked grim as she reviewed it all. "This is financial abuse," Linda said. "The forged loan documents alone are potentially criminal. The question is how you want to handle this. We could file for divorce immediately and pursue charges, or we can wait until he makes his move and hit him with everything at once." "What's the advantage of waiting?" "If he files first or demands a divorce, and then we reveal what he's been doing, it completely undermines his position. He won't be able to claim he deserves anything. In fact, you'd have grounds to demand he return everything he stole, plus damages." "Let's wait." "But I want to protect what's left." Linda helped me quietly move remaining funds into protected accounts, documented all of Victor's transfers, and prepared divorce papers that could be filed immediately when needed. For the next 3 months, I went about my life normally. I went to work, came home, pretended everything was fine, while my husband continued his affair and his theft. It was the hardest 3 months of my life. Watching him lie, watching him pretend to love me while planning to destroy me financially. But I kept my cool because I knew what was coming. 2 nights ago, Victor came home around 8 p.m. I was in the kitchen making dinner. He walked in with a folder in his hand and this weird, confident energy. "We need to talk," he said. "Okay, want dinner first?" "No, sit down." I sat at the kitchen table. He sat across from me and slid the folder over. "I think you should read this." I opened it. Divorce papers already filled out, his signature at the bottom, waiting for mine. "I've been unhappy for a long time," he said, not looking particularly upset about it. "I think we want different things. I think it's better if we end this now before we waste more of each other's time." "Okay," I said calmly. He looked surprised. "Okay, that's it? What do you want me to say? You've obviously made up your mind." "I thought you'd fight me on this." "Why would I fight you on something you clearly want?" He seemed thrown by my calm reaction. Then he got confident again. "I spoke to a lawyer. I'm entitled to half of everything. The house, your retirement accounts, savings. I've documented all our assets." "I'm sure you have." "I'm being fair about this, Lucy. I could ask for spousal support, but I'm not. I just want my half, and we can both move on." "Your half?" I repeated. "Yes. Half of the house equity, half of your 401k, half of the savings accounts. I've already calculated it. It's all in the folder." I looked at the papers. He'd listed assets totaling about $340,000, expecting $170,000 as his share. He'd conveniently not mentioned the $47,000 he'd already taken. "Before you celebrate," I said quietly, "you should open the envelope inside the folder." "What envelope?" "The white envelope, bottom of the folder. I put it there while you were talking." He looked confused, but pulled out the envelope I'd slipped in when he wasn't paying attention. Inside were copies of everything. Bank statements showing his transfers, hotel receipts from his affair, the forged loan documents, photos of him and Rachel together. The first page was a summary I'd written, "Documentation of Financial Theft and Fraud by Victor Mitchell, compiled by private investigator." His hands started shaking as he read the first page. The color drained from his face. "What is this?" "It's evidence that you've been stealing from me for 6 months, that you forged my signature on loan documents, and that you've been having an affair with your married boss," I said. "It's everything my lawyer needs to make sure you get nothing in this divorce. Less than nothing, actually. You'll be lucky if I don't press criminal charges." "You had me investigated?" His voice cracked. "When?" "4 months ago, when I came home early and heard you with Rachel in our bedroom." He stared at me. "You knew this whole time?" "I knew. I documented. I prepared. While you were planning your exit, I was building a case that would destroy any claim you think you have." He was fully panicking now, flipping through pages, seeing his transactions laid out in clean columns, seeing photos of himself and Rachel at hotels and restaurants. "This is an invasion of privacy," he said weakly. "It's evidence of theft and fraud. My lawyer assures me it's all admissible, especially the forged loan documents. That's a felony, Victor. I was going to pay you back." "With what? The money you stole from me? You moved $47,000 into a secret account and took out a $30,000 loan in my name. You were planning to leave me broke while you started a new life with your married girlfriend." "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" I asked. "Explain it to me." He couldn't. He just sat there shaking, tears starting to form. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to sign a postnuptial agreement that my lawyer prepared. You're going to return every penny you took. You're going to take responsibility for the loan you fraudulently opened. You're going to waive any claim to the house, my retirement accounts, or any other assets. In exchange, I won't press criminal charges. You'll walk away with whatever you came into the marriage with. That's it." "I can't afford that." "Then you shouldn't have stolen from me. Those are your choices. Sign the agreement and leave with your freedom, or refuse, and I'll file criminal charges along with the divorce." He looked up at me, eyes wide. "Your boss will definitely fire you when her husband finds out about the affair," I continued, "which he will, because I'll make sure of it. You'll have a criminal record and no job, or you can sign and move on with your life." "This is insane." "This is consequences. You wanted to plan an exit. I'm giving you one. Take it or leave it." Victor didn't answer that night. He grabbed the envelope and his folder and left. I heard his car peel out of the driveway around 10 p.m. He didn't come home. I went to bed in the guest room around midnight, not expecting to hear from him. At 7 a.m. the next morning, he showed up with a lawyer, his own lawyer, a man named Tom something, who looked like he didn't want to be there. They sat in the living room while my lawyer, Linda, joined us via phone. Tom tried to negotiate. "Ms. Mitchell, my client admits he made some mistakes, but the postnuptial agreement you're proposing is extremely one-sided. Your client committed fraud and theft, Linda said through the speaker. He forged her signature on loan documents and systematically stole nearly $50,000 from joint accounts. The agreement is more than fair. He avoids criminal prosecution and gets to leave without debt. That's generous considering what he did. We could argue that the joint accounts were depleted without her knowledge or consent using deceptive transfers specifically designed to avoid detection, Linda continued. That's not marital asset division. That's theft. Would you like me to forward these documents to the district attorney's office, or would your client like to sign? Tom looked at Victor. Victor looked defeated, smaller than I'd ever seen him. If I sign, she won't press charges? He asked. That's correct, Linda said. Sign the agreement. Return the stolen funds within 30 days, take responsibility for the fraudulent loan, and vacate the marital home within 60 days. No criminal charges will be filed. And Rachel, her husband? Victor asked quietly. That depends on your cooperation, I said. You sign today, move out quietly, return the money, and I'll keep the affair documentation to myself. You fight me on this, and everyone finds out everything. He signed. His hand was shaking so badly he could barely write his name, but he signed. Tom witnessed it. Linda confirmed receipt over the phone. It was done. Victor left that morning. He went to his sister's place, I heard later. Tom tried to make small talk as he packed his briefcase, probably feeling bad for his client. You had this planned for a while, he said. 4 months since you found out. Most people would have confronted immediately. Most people don't have husbands who forge their signatures for loans and steal $50,000, I said. I needed time to build an airtight case. He nodded and left. Victor had 30 days to return the money. I didn't expect him to be able to do it. He'd probably already spent some of it, and coming up with that much cash quickly isn't easy. But 3 weeks later, my account showed a transfer of $47,000, all of it in one lump sum. I texted him, received the transfer, thank you. He responded an hour later. My parents gave me the money. They know everything now. His parents. I'd always gotten along with them pretty well. His father, Carl, was a reasonable man. His mother, Donna, was sweet, but maybe a little too protective of Victor. I wondered what they thought about all this. 2 days after the transfer, Carl called me. Lucy, it's Carl. Do you have a minute? Sure, what's up? I wanted to apologize for my son's behavior. Donna and I had no idea what he'd been doing. When he came to us for the money and told us why he needed it, we were horrified. I appreciate that, Carl. We didn't give him the money for his sake, he said. We gave it for yours. What he did was theft. We're not going to let our son be a thief, even if it means draining our savings account to make you whole. You didn't deserve this. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. He's staying with his sister. Donna and I told him he's not welcome at our house until he gets his life together. He lost his job, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
He quit before they could fire him. Apparently, Rachel's husband found out about the affair and threatened to make a scene at the office. I didn't tell Carl that I'd been the one to inform Rachel's husband. I'd done it anonymously, sent him copies of the hotel records and photos with a note that said, "Thought you should know who your wife is spending company dinners with." Let him draw his own conclusions. I'm sorry you're going through this, Carl said. We raised him better than this. I hope so, I said quietly. Take care of yourself, Lucy, he said. You're a good woman. I thanked him and hung up. Victor moved out of the house 55 days after signing the agreement. He'd been staying with his sister, but needed to get his things. I wasn't there when he came. I made sure I was at work. My friend Dave helped coordinate with him to make sure it went smoothly. He took his clothes, some furniture that was clearly his, books, personal items, and left everything else. Dave texted me photos of the house afterward. It looked emptier, but not devastated. He hadn't trashed anything out of spite, which I half expected. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. No contest, no drama, just paperwork. The judge reviewed the post-nuptial agreement, confirmed Victor had returned the stolen funds, and granted the divorce with the terms we'd agreed to. I kept the house, my retirement accounts, everything. He left with what he'd brought into the marriage and nothing more. I ran into him once about 2 months after everything was finalized. I was at a coffee shop near my office, and he walked in. We made eye contact. He looked like he was debating whether to leave or pretend he hadn't seen me. Finally, he walked over. Hey, he said. Hey, can I sit for a second? Sure. He sat across from me, holding his coffee cup with both hands. I wanted to say I'm sorry for all of it, he said. The affair, the money, the lying. I don't know what I was thinking. You were thinking you deserved more than what we had, I said, and you were willing to destroy me to get it. I know, he said. It was selfish and stupid and cruel. I've been in therapy trying to understand why I did it. And what did you figure out? That I confused excitement with happiness, he said. Rachel made me feel important and successful and desired. You made me feel safe and stable. I wanted the excitement so badly that I was willing to throw away the safety. I looked at him. That was a choice. I know, he said. I was an idiot. Yeah, I said. You kind of were. He almost smiled. You were 3 steps ahead of me the whole time, he said. I thought I was being so smart, planning everything out, and you were just watching me dig my own grave. I protected myself, I said. That's all. You did more than that, he said quietly. You made sure I faced consequences. Real consequences. I lost my job, my marriage, my parents' respect, $47,000, and I almost got criminal charges. You destroyed me, Lucy. No, I said. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure you didn't destroy me in the process. He nodded, tears in his eyes. I deserve that, he said. I deserve all of it. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to hear it. Okay, I said. I heard it. Are you doing okay? He asked. I'm doing fine, I said. Better, actually. Turns out when you're not living with someone who lies to you every day, life gets a lot more peaceful. I'm glad, he said. You deserve that. He finished his coffee and left. I haven't seen him since. It's been 7 months since Victor slid that folder across the table. 7 months since I slid that envelope back and watched his world fall apart. The house is mine now. It feels more like home without him in it. I repainted a few rooms, got new furniture, made it my space instead of our space. Rachel got divorced too. Her husband took her to the cleaners in their settlement. Last I heard, she's living in a small apartment downtown and paying massive child support and alimony. Victor and Rachel aren't together, as far as I know. Once the affair was exposed and they both lost their jobs, the excitement he was chasing probably evaporated pretty quickly. Victor found a new job at a smaller firm. Still a paralegal, but making less money and starting over in his career. His sister told one of my friends that he's still in therapy and trying to rebuild his life. I hope that's true. I don't wish him ill. I just don't wish him anything at all. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it when the right person comes along. I'm more cautious now, more aware of red flags, but I'm not cynical. What Victor did was about him, not about relationships in general. The money he returned is still sitting in my account. I haven't touched it. It feels tainted somehow. I'm thinking about donating it to a charity that helps fraud victims, turning something ugly into something useful. Dave told me last month that what I did, waiting, documenting, preparing, was one of the smartest things he'd seen a betrayed spouse do. Most people react emotionally, he said. You reacted strategically. That's why you came out ahead. Maybe, I said, or maybe I just got lucky that I found out early enough to protect myself. If I'd discovered everything after he filed for divorce, I'd have been screwed. The hardest part wasn't the divorce or the money or even the betrayal. It was those 3 months of knowing and pretending I didn't know. Sitting across from him at dinner, watching him text Rachel, listening to him lie about where he'd been, keeping my face neutral while my stomach churned. That took everything I had, but it was worth it, because when he finally made his move, I was ready. And when he opened that envelope and saw everything I knew, everything I'd documented, every plan he'd made crumbling in front of him, that moment made those 3 months of pretending worthwhile. I'm Lucy, 35, divorced, financially secure, living in a house I own outright, learning to trust again, but taking it slow. I survived someone trying to destroy me, and I came out stronger on the other side. That's enough.